Hello, good evening, and welcome to the September edition of Freedom Friday. I am your host, Sarita Price, the coach who is skilling you softly to live and lead with confidence and boldness. Okay, so this particular month, we have an awesome, great guest, none other than Mr. DJ Funn. But before I introduce Jay and have this conversation with candor, I always do this, and let's add this to the stream. So, what are the purpose these Freedom Friday lives? So, the purpose is we're having conversation with candor, frankness, honesty, and that we focus on how soft skills, methods, and practices are the solution to bringing godly change back to our nation and to the world by really reaching the seven mountains or spheres of social influence. Um, this is the model that I use as well. So, what I do is always, what are soft skills? We should know this by now, but I always like to put this before on here. So, soft skills are those desirable qualities or those transferable skills that do not depend on acquired knowledge. They include communication, the ability to deal with people, emotional intelligence, and it goes on and on. Soft skills, these are some of the examples of soft skills: creativity, innovation, conflict management, integrity, creativity, and the list goes on. So this is the major principles of soft skills. So without further ado, I'm actually going to go and read the bio of my guest, Mr. DJ Funn. Let me pull this up here. And his name, he goes by DJ Funn, but the name is Jay Ford. He is the founder of Funn Entertainment. Pull this up here so I can read this. And it doesn't want to cooperate with me. That's okay. He's the founder of Funn entertainment company that he actually services weddings and corporate events. He recently sold his trucking company, EDF Transport, and he is a part owner of restaurants and has rental properties that keeps him very busy. He grew up in Bolivar, Tennessee, and after high school moved to Memphis, Tennessee to attend Memphis State University. Then now we know it as the University of Memphis, where he studied criminal justice. He served in the United States Marine Corps and served as a law enforcement officer, the SWAT, and in investigations for over 20 years. Jay believes everyone has a gift and a talent. And if you find yours, you can not only make a living, you can smile while doing it. Oh, I love this. I definitely love this. So let me introduce and bring in no other than Mr. DJ Funn himself. What's up, Jay?
What's up, Sarita?
How you doing?
Girl, I'm great. How you doing?
I am wonderful. I am wonderful.
I love hearing that. I love hearing it.
Yeah.
Good.
So welcome as my
Thank you.
guest. And I can pretty much tell, look, as I put it on the cover, you've done a lot great things. And look, guys, he is Mr. DJ Funn. Listen, let's go. I'm gonna give you a little history. Jay and I grew up together. I'm from Whiteville, he from Bolivar. We went to Bolivar Central High School.
Mm-hmm.
And he was crazy then. We always had a sense of humor.
Not much changed.
Yeah, nothing has changed. But there also is a serious side to Jay. Not only is he fun, he is very smart, he's very intelligent. So Jay, just kind of tell us, I told you the purpose of this, what I have this. We have conversation with candor. We talk about soft skills. We're talking about of the seven mountains, it's like arts and entertainment is your mountain, but is there some another mountain that you have great influence on what you do? Just kind of tell us what you do and just flow.
Well, arts and entertainment, like you said, that it reaches out, it reaches the masses because everybody looks for entertainment, looks for fun. And like you say, growing up, I mean, I always been outgoing, I always been fun, but I noticed I enjoy seeing people smile.
Okay.
And there's nothing like leaving someone with a smile as opposed to a frown, making someone feel better than when you met them, when you first met
Okay.
them. So always being outgoing, having a good time, fun, but and you say maybe somewhat smart, maybe somewhat serious. There has to be a balance.
Yeah.
Life is about balance. And to incorporate those things that I enjoy and to use those to make a living, that took a set of skills that I happen to be blessed with. I mean, I didn't do much for it. God gave me that gift, but I had to use it.
Mhm.
And so to be able to do that, life is good. And there's nothing like communicating with people. There's nothing like being honest with people. And I
Okay.
enjoy that. I enjoy that. And so that carries over into the entertainment aspect and the other business arenas that I might deal with, and just even just talking to people in general. Because if you can't talk to people, you can't be honest with people, you can't teach them unless you reach to them. And to be able to reach them, you got to be honest. You got to be honest.
That's true. And you just said something key, Jay. Communication is key. So definitely with what you do, communication is one of those soft skills that we talk about. And I feel like, you as a business owner, communication probably out of all soft skills is one of the most important because people recognize you have to know how to communicate.
Yes.
You have to recognize not only just verbal communication or like body language.
Right.
You can pick up on people's body language to tell whether or not you're a DJ. If people are not dancing, they're not
Right.
so you kind of talk about that a little bit with as far as DJ and what you do. I know some people are like, okay, you're just playing music, but there's an art to what you do. Talk about that.
Right. And as we segue into that and we
Mhm.
talk about communicating, I know when I started the business and when it started to blow up, I knew I was going to need help. So I had
Mhm.
to hire people, DJs, photographers, videographers, and things like that.
Okay.
And you have so many events and different things going on that communicating is important. But one thing I tried to tell my guys was, so often we think communicating is telling somebody what they want to hear.
Mhm.
That's really not communicating. Communicating to me, one big part of communicating is being able to listen. And a lot of people don't listen because people will tell you what they need, even if they don't know what they need, if you listen to them. So to be able to listen to what people need, to what people say, it makes you a better communicator. So then we take that into the arena where I had to figure out, okay, how do we staff this event? Because we do a lot of corporate events or weddings. What do they want? Because it's their day, it's their event. So you listen to them. They tell you what they like. And so you cater your equipment, you cater your personnel to what they want, what they need. And then when you go into that arena, once it starts well, you only go forward because you don't want to start wrong. Just like a foundation for anything.
Mhm.
So if there's no communication, if there's no listening, then your foundation is going to be kind of shaky and you start on rough ground. That makes it a lot tougher, a lot tougher. So
Yeah.
so once it gets going and you pay attention to the crowd, like you say, you got them at that point. You DJs are responsible. You can elevate that crowd, or you can ease them down. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You got a lot of control with that microphone and that music.
Yeah. And when you said that, it brings me back to one of the other mountains, the mountain of business. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, with what you do, you got to have some key foundations when you are in business. That's key
Yes. Yes.
because giving great customer service, which is another soft skill,
Yes.
communications, those two are the foundation of your business. I always tell people, I have a girlfriend of mine that actually, Beverly Owens, I did a Freedom Friday, I think it was either June, and she has some of these isms, which is really, it cracks me up. But she talks about, I always use this scenario. No disrespect to people who want to open hot wings. I'm not,
Right.
but there is a chicken shack, that's what I call them, on
Uh-huh.
every corner in
Right.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Right.
So did you do any research? Did you go and look at the demographics? What is going to make your hot wings any better than the other three
Right.
that are right down the street?
Right.
So with that said, how does DJ Funn Entertainment, how are you different from your competitors? What makes you different?
I would say when I got started, now as far as different, I tried to
Oh, let me change that. Unique. Let me change
right.
that.
Unique. I try to make sure it goes back to communication, as well as we give you an expectation of the service that you're going to get, and then exceed that.
Okay.
And that's how I try to be unique. It's just professionalism, the communication, the listening skills, the talking to them, making them feel comfortable, so that foundation is there, and then you exceed that. So,
Okay.
but going back to when I got started years ago, what I did was I had access to music and equipment because my brother and I had a sports bar in Jackson, Tennessee.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, it was 731 zone. So
Okay.
we had a sports bar there. So being there, I got close to the radio station because I had to do commercials, and then they would bring me on to talk about the sports bar, what was going on that weekend, what we had going on. Well, I found out, okay, where they got their music from, had to subscribe to all that, where you get licensed music and different things like that. So I learned all this stuff. Well, I had extra equipment. I was still living in Memphis. The business was in Jackson, and he was pretty much running it. So here in Memphis, I said, well, I got this equipment and this music. I started a special needs fund day.
Okay.
I had some people come to me about helping them out with special needs kids and groups, and they didn't have much going on. So I kind of sat down and I made a agreement. We sat down and had a deal together with, it was Fun Quest skating rink and bowling alley, but the skating rink side, they would let me have that one Saturday a month. And I had that, and I had the music and the equipment and everything. So we had a special needs fund day where all people, the families with special needs, could come out, have professionals there in the business, that could talk to the families about things they were trying to do, things they're missing out on.
Uh-huh.
But more than anything, I thought about bringing those families and kids together where they would be together and they would feel comfortable because people weren't looking at them strangely. They're not at a mall. They're around people that deal with the same things daily. So it started that. Well, I got this music. So I'm like, and the next thing I know, I get these nonprofit organizations. Well, will you do an event for us? Well, I do a few events, and then people are going, wow, you're pretty good. Do you do weddings? Do you do this? Do you do that? So I said, I tell you what, let me get back with you. So I realized I had the equipment and the music. One, I could communicate, but I said, well, let me make sure I can do this right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I looked around, and what I found out was there weren't very many DJs that looked like me that did high-end events and high-end weddings.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what propelled me. We were doing little clubs and bars and different types of parties. But as far as the high-end events and the high-end weddings, there weren't many that looked like me. And I said, well, there's a market that I could step into. And that's what really made me look and set that foundation and step out there.
Wow, Jack, look, I had no idea. I'm serious. This is so really you started this in Jackson, Tennessee. And you
Right. We started a sports bar in Jackson, Tennessee, but I got really involved. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And you know what? That brings in something else when you're talking about business. You started off as, giving back.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And that's when you learn that you had a talent and that people wanted this. And then and that's the thing about business owners. When I sometimes I coach people, I'm like, sometimes you have to, it's not sometimes, get out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. You have to.
You have to get out your comfort zone. And when you start off, sometimes you got to give a little. You don't necessarily give money. It's all about what's coming from your heart. Because what I've learned along the way when I have just did things, for example, I joined SCORE. I don't know if you've ever heard of SCORE.
Yes, I have. Uh-huh.
Okay. I was a mentor for SCORE.
Okay.
It started right before the pandemic hit. And I started, doing webinars and everything for them. And I had to step back about 2 months ago as a mentor because I had so much going on. But anyway, I started doing webinars. You know how they actually They send out emails, who with your picture. That's how I start getting inquiries about, hey, are you interested in this? And I've actually picked up 2 clients just from doing voluntary free
Right.
information. So,
Mhm.
sometimes you have to do that. You have to go into some territories that I'm in. Jay, I never would have thought. Like, for example, doing this right
Right.
here, this.
Yes.
And I started doing this out of trying to get rid of my fear of being in front of the camera.
Okay. Okay.
I'm serious. This
Wow.
was something I started just as doing lives. And then I was like, I have a message. So,
Mhm.
and it's grown to this point now where I'm meeting people all over, not only just Memphis, all over the United States. And
Right.
that's how you have to do. I'm perfecting my craft of speaking,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
So you have to, that's one thing too, when you're in business, you have to, like I said, you have to go out of your comfort zone
Mhm.
because it's not about you.
Right.
It's about helping someone else. Because as you talked in your bio, and I really like that. What did you say? You said that, when you have gifts and talents, that you find it's not even, it doesn't feel like you're working. I don't feel like I'm working
Right.
because I'm enjoying what I am doing.
Right.
But if I hadn't stepped out of my comfort zone to do some things, I never would be where I am. And I definitely, where I'm going is a little scary, but I know that, God has me.
He's
So
got you. That's it.
so that's my purpose of doing these Freedom Fridays, is really to, it's like threefold. So that's a very good point. So my next question.
But to go on that, that's great advice that you give people to step out of their comfort zone. And a lot of people, they don't understand that in order to grow, you have to.
Yeah.
For kids to grow, I mean, for the adult teeth to come in, there's some uncomfortness of pushing those old teeth out, or
Yeah.
falling out. I mean, growth, you have to step out of your comfort zone. You say giving back. When you give back, a lot of people listen to that and think they're giving away something. And that's the problem. What you're doing is you're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
You're investing in yourself, because if not, you're going somewhere every day investing in someone else. Are you helping someone else make profit?
True.
Take time, invest in yourself, and see the return.
Yeah. And this is flowing just like I like it when it flows like this. So there brings, another thought. A lot of times people, I'm just being honest, you have to invest in yourself.
You have to.
And when you're giving, you're investing yourself, but also too, you have to invest in yourself when you said earlier something key. When you start doing events, and I'm sure you had to, as Stephen Covey, as one of his 7 habits, you have to sharpen the saw, right? So
Yes.
you probably looked at videos, you probably start paying attention to different things, how to perfect what you do. So that landed you with the high-end clients.
Right. Right.
Sometimes as, this is candor. I'm just saying, sometimes as African American business owners, we want to stay in our little.
Yes. Yes.
And my thing is, I don't care anything about race. I don't care anything even about religion. If I know that I'm a Christian is in here, I coach women who were Muslim, who were Buddhists. They're not depict who I was, because I know who I am.
Right.
And sometimes we don't step out our comfort zone to, I am a diverse person, right? So I believe in talking, and I guess it's my corporate background. I work for big companies like FedEx, like Nike and AT&T and ServiceMaster, where you had to interact with different people of different races, cultures, what have you.
Right. Exactly.
And some of my best acquaintances, they don't look like me. They respect me. We respect each other. And I do business with them. They don't care. I don't care.
Right.
So sometimes I think we put ourselves in a box and we lock ourselves in. No, if you have a service and a talent and ability God gave you, God don't care about color. He wants you to serve his people, no matter where they are and what. So when we're talking about this, and I know you feel the same way. Where do you see your business going forward? I'm because I'm a forward thinker. How do you have some things in the work, or where do you see your business how
Oh,
it is?
it's constantly growing. Let me tell you, hard for me to keep up at times, and I have so many other things going on. But
Mm-hmm.
back to what you were saying about dealing with people, all kinds of people, all mindsets,
Mm-hmm.
stepping out of that comfort zone. And see, what we have to understand too is you got to realize those people on the other side are looking at us with questions as well.
Exactly.
So when they choose to sit down and listen to us, how we handle that and do business with them sometimes reaches people in a way you don't know, you don't realize. God had that plan.
Yep.
I've seen some minds and some frowns change. So I've always said, well, I hadn't always said, but I've come to the point where age and a little wisdom that I got along with growing older, I say I'll lower my voice to deal with you, but I won't lower my standard.
Mm. Oh,
So
that you look. You need to. That's an Instagram post.
so no matter who I'm dealing with, no matter
Uh-huh.
what they look like, no matter how they approach me, I lower my voice to deal with you, but I won't lower my standard. And that has gotten me through doors and across bridges that otherwise probably wouldn't have. So it's been interesting. Like you say, we don't need to keep ourselves in a box or a cage. They like us there. Step out, grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this because I had no idea. You said you how many approximately how many employees you have working for you for your
Well,
company?
yeah, I had 9.
Mm-hmm.
Had 9. When you talk about where do I see myself going, I'm trying to downsize to be. I had
Oh,
11 at one point. I had 9. I'm trying to downsize. Had 7 vehicles because I had to have the vehicles, the Suburbans with equipment in them. They pick them up, they run because I wanted things to look uniform.
okay.
Yeah, so I had them where they would come and pick up vehicle equipment because when you go out, you're representing me, you're
Mm-hmm.
representing the company. So I had all that going. When I got into the trucking business, got into rental properties, and like I told you, I deal with the stock market, just so many avenues because you want to be diverse. I,
Yes.
I realized that I have a lot of opportunities, but I don't have that much time. You don't have that much time in a day.
Yeah.
So you don't want to spread yourself too thin because you don't want to be okay at a lot of things and not good at anything.
Exactly.
So you don't want to spread yourself too thin. So I got to the point where I said, well, let me find out which of these avenues are going to be better for me as time moves forward. So I'm getting to a point to where I want to keep the high quality of business, where I'm trying to downsize a little bit because it's so hard to keep up with so many employees and people. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the biggest things to me I found out about business is managing personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Because if a company likes you, if a group likes you, but you send an employee, they're not getting you. No matter how you think you've trained that person, it's still not you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't be there to guide them or steer them back on track if they go off track. So that still represents your company. So I had to learn that along the way. And I've been blessed to have some good people working for me. I've run into some hiccups along the way, some speed
Uh-huh.
bumps, and you learn those lessons. But
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing is from the entertainment business. I want to downside a little bit where I could stream to once again high-end clients with high-end service because
Okay.
you can grow too fast. And so I got, like I said, got other things going on. And you look at the future, you look how things are going. So you want to have yourself in good position, good standing, and comfort. I told you, so I love to travel. So
Oh yeah,
oh
look, yeah,
yeah,
look, I see Jay Facebook. He has a I'm like, look, what country are you in now?
love to travel, love to travel. So
But you
yeah,
know what, Jay? That's a good thing because that's another way. That's the reason you're so diverse.
right.
It's amazing. Lord Jesus, when I finish school next year, I already got my passport ready.
Yes,
I'm gonna be
yes.
right behind you.
Do it,
I
do it.
want to travel and go to different countries and
Mm-hmm.
just experience things because I'm the philosophy. Even though I may be in my 50s right now, I'm just not starting life. That's how I
That's
feel.
it. That's right. That's true.
That's my
You just
mindset.
start life when
Yeah,
you realize what life is about and you learn how to
mhm.
enjoy it. You starting it.
Yeah.
You starting it. I had one, actually one of the guys that worked for me. He said, you didn't accept anything, this week or whatever. And I said, I'm traveling. And he thought that was interesting. He said, oh man, you have turned down money to travel. I said, I can always go back and make money. I can't get time back.
No.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, that's my philosophy. I don't know, Jay. I think ever since the pandemic, my total mindset has really changed about life,
right,
about living. If it's, I actually left corporate America 2 weeks before the shutdown because I was stressed. My blood pressure was 174 over 100.
Woo, yes, it was stressing you out.
Yeah, and the job, it was just, and the thing is, one of my friends have already told me, and I was like, okay, God, I know you have, and I haven't looked back. God has really blessed me, and things are even expanding even more.
That's
good. And one of my sorority sisters always says, she said, Sarita, I don't know why you keep on trying to go back in corporate America, get these jobs. You're not made to work for anybody anymore. And I'm not. I'm just being honest.
And you realize that.
I realized that. I mean, so I do what I do, and I love what I do because, just like you said, it doesn't feel like when you can get to a point, and I try to tell people this, especially when I'm coaching them, when you find what you do, what you love, it don't feel like work.
That's it. It don't. No.
It doesn't feel like work.
No, and you go and you do it, and you do it with such ease and comfort that people wonder, wow. And the reason is because it's a gift, it's a talent, and it doesn't feel like work to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about the pandemic, you talk about times and how things change or make you change your life or your outlook. A lot of things I do when I talk about the Special Needs Fund Day, and I used to do, when I still do some stuff for schools, but there's only so much time and effort you can give back. But I still try, because the kids, they see you. Kids are so important. And our times, man, you talk about business. We talked earlier about communicating and being honest. We live in a society where money matters more than anything, than people. Then honesty. I mean, the people, integrity has left the building. Honesty, decency, treating mankind with dignity,
respect.
Those things. I mean, it's just like, and so when you see these things, you can look at the media. When people you call leaders are people who speak to masses of people from the news networks. And people so easily lie or con or they're being devious. Is that the norm now? It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But our kids see that. And so what kind of future are we creating for them? So to have people around that was say, hey, honesty matters. Respect matters. Hard work matters. Do what you enjoy. Put that passion into it. And if you miss $1 today because of your morals and standards, you're gonna gain an extra tomorrow. We don't do that. We feel like, I mean, it's and that bothered me for a while. The stealing, and then with the hate that we've seen that go on from time, to see certain people celebrate it. So those things, I had to deal with those things throughout the business, even some of the people that I work with. And that's why I had to learn I could lower my voice to deal with them. I wasn't going to lower my standards. So people would know where I stand and what I think is never, I don't have hate for groups. I don't deal with that. I don't disrespect people. And if that's your lifestyle, if that's who you are, you're going to know I'm not like that. So I can lower my voice to deal with you. Can't lower my standards.
Yeah, like I said, that's one of the ones you need to post on Instagram. But no, you are so right, Jay, because I sometimes I'm gonna be honest, I go a couple of days, I shut the news down. I don't look at the news because my thing is I always post, I protect my peace, so when needed, my peace can protect me.
Right. There you go.
And constantly looking at the news like that, I shut it down. Now I need to know what I need to know. Like last week, it's like I don't know if it was because of the full moon. Memphis lost its mind. And I think about that because I just like I remember when I worked one of the first teaching jobs I got. I always wanted to teach college. I worked at Remington College. You're familiar with Remington,
right? Yes.
Non-traditional type college,
right.
Different mindset of students. And I remember when I first started working there, my supervisor said, "Miss Price, these are not your average college students." I said, "Yeah, I understand because." Reason God prepared me, I had just left Nike. I was in HR working at a warehouse. If you've ever went in the mindset, right?
Yes.
So, Jay, when I got there, I felt so sorry for some of my students. They come from all walks of life, the hood, whatever. And my heart went out to them because I was their third instructor. 12-week class.
Wow.
It was 6 weeks. And they were frustrated. They were, they were a little disrespectful, whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't get upset because I saw in their hearts, and I just started working with them and telling them, you can do this, and you're not stupid, and you're not dumb. And and I always go back to this young man and use an example. He was like, I can't do this stuff, Miss Price. He had like a 20-something average. This is 6 weeks halfway through.
Wow.
And I start working with him and telling him, you're not done. So I just started noticing he was finishing faster and he was going back helping this other white gentleman do his work. And I was like, he was like, yeah, I'm finished. So make a long story short, Jay, at the end of the class, he went from a 20 to a very high B just because somebody told him he wasn't stupid, he wasn't dumb.
Right.
The young man was highly intelligent.
You can reach him, you can teach him.
Yeah. So yes. I'm wondering the young man. I'm not justifying by no means what he did.
Right. You can't. Right.
But what if he had someone, a community, somebody to be there and tell him would it be a different story?
Right. As we go from where we're talking about now, and I take it on back to entertainment, one thing I found out is it seems like in many groups, and especially our people, a lot of times, we're quicker to help them fail or to almost stand by as they fail as opposed to give a helping hand or try to push them to succeed. And we think there's only a limited number of spaces at the top when there's more room at the top than there is at the bottom. There's more room in outer space than there is on Earth. And so if we could lift everybody up, we'd be so much better. So what I found out is there's good and bad in every group.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we talk black, white, whether we talk police officers, politicians, judges, doctors, we can name all the groups, and there's good and bad in every group. And unfortunately, in every group, the problem that we have is the good people are too quiet. They won't speak up. See, if one in our group, if one black commits something, as opposed to all the blacks saying that that's wrong because it's wrong, now we want to step back and almost justify. One police officer does something, and it's obviously wrong. Instead of all the police officers coming out and saying it's wrong, they want to be quiet. One politician does something and it's wrong. In that same political party, as opposed to those political party members saying that it's wrong, they want to be quiet. And that's what's wrong with our society. The good folks are quiet. The bad folks speak louder, and it stays out there longer because the good folks won't shut it down.
So why do you feel that, and I kind of know, but why do you feel that the good people stay quiet?
So often, most people don't want to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And also, remember, I said they're a part of that group. The white folks don't want to speak against the white guy because they think the white folks might get mad at him. The black folks don't want to speak against the black guy because he's in that hood, might get retaliated against.
Mhm.
Police officers don't want to tell off on the other police officers because they might look at him bad. He's a snitch. So I don't, whatever name they try to give people to make it look bad, it happens in every field. Judges, they're bad judges, they're bad lawyers, they're bad doctors. You wonder how can a doctor or a nurse get up to a number of count where they kill 10, 15 people? Somebody knew it all along, but people, they don't want to get involved. They don't want to say anything. I just leave it alone. And that's what's wrong. Good folks should always speak up. If you make it a point to always speak against evil, we have a different society. But that's not how it works. So that causes division, because then people have to justify them being quiet or looking the other way. So what they do is they say, well, so-and-so did it. They point to another group. Remember, got to get out of our group. Got to get out of the black side. Got to get out of the white side. Got to get out of the political party side of the police. So let me point to another group. What about this? So then we're divided. Then I come to entertainment and I found out I'm in a field where I could bridge a whole lot of gaps.
Yes.
And I found that with my music, no matter who I deal with, everybody knew Michael Jackson. Everybody knew Prince. Oh, Bruno can cross some lines. You see what I'm saying? What, Whitney Houston? And I found out that once I can reach in my catalog and touch whatever group out there, I can play Elvis and everybody knows who that is. So music has always been something that's been able to bridge that gap. But once the party's over, I just wish we were better. I wish we would. And sometimes it helps. It helps because people, it starts lines of communication where people come up and talk to me about, hey, great job, great music. And I'm talking. And I realized, man, these people had a different mindset. And some people brought up that way. People were taught that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But my field, I've been able to cross some lines and some arenas and some barriers that otherwise, without entertainment, without music, I probably couldn't have.
And you know what? That just shows you how it flows. You just answered my next question. So you are so right. When it comes to arts and entertainment, it comes to just music, period, or art, just all of it.
Right.
That is a great way to that gap, to bridge different cultures, different people, races together. So as this, it's your business, but Jay, it's almost like a ministry too.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
So it's just like what you are doing is bringing people together. And you said, you made a very good point. It's just like if it's only for a moment,
right?
You brought people together and they forget about what color you are. You forget about what religion you are. Forget about all these things. And and the thing is, I always use in my coaching practice whatever. At the end of the day, when I see you coming, I'm seeing a human first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at you being a human being before you are black or white or Latino or what have you. So, boy, this is good. But anyway, we've been on 39 minutes.
Oh,
well, that's okay. I told you this is how it flows. Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna put your Jay. What is the best way to get in contact with you? I'm gonna put your website up here.
Okay. Yes.
And, are there any other ways that people can get in contact with you besides your website? Because you do everything, right?
Of course, the website is fine. It'll always go to the office and they'll respond immediately. There are actually links on the website where you can get instant message, and then that will text me. Or you can also call. That's 901-860-1171, 1171. That's 860-1171. So that's the phone number for the business as well.
Okay, great. So let me go back here. Let me move. I'm gonna move forward here. So as always too, you can get in contact with me, keep in touch. My email address is here. All things Sarita. That's on my social media platforms, as well as mailing addresses. Just to let everyone know, I have a webinar. It will be coming out by at the end of the month. So everybody stay tuned for that. It's going to be interesting because I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting having different webinars and classes every month. And so you can stay tuned in. I'm actually going to tag Jay Page for this. So you'll be able to reach him via social media platform as well. And so Jay,
Yes.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being my guest this month.
My pleasure.
And we'll be in touch because
Okay.
I'm big on networking too. So
That's good.
we'll be in touch. Okay. Always do this too before I end, as we talked about these different mountains of influence. So I always ask this question to my audience: what spirit or mountain are you influencing? Think about that, because Jay told us very clearly today how he influenced the mountain of arts and entertainment. I want you to think about, guys, what are you influencing? Are you going to be silent like Jay talked about, or are you going to speak up?
Right.
That's most important. Okay, guys, thank you for coming. And I will see you next month in October for October Freedom Friday. I'm going to have another wonderful guest. And I want you to remember this: soft skills get you through hard times. Everybody have a great night. Bye-bye.